Hey, Team Zito next to me. Okay, here we go. So in the first step, I broke up my Mozz curd. It says cut, but I broke it up into small pieces and put it into my 90-degree warm water. Okay, and then I have my water boiling, and I gotta transfer it here in just a second. Okay, guys, so I got my curds here. Like I said, we're gonna reserve this water. I'm gonna add the tablespoon of salt because that's gonna be my brine. So I got my boiling hot water. If you see back here, it's about 160 degrees or so. But I want to drain my curds first, really well. Okay, put them into the bowl right here. And like I said, you're gonna save this water. Okay, this is gonna be your brine for your fresh mozz once you're done forming it. Okay, make sure that's in there. All right, some little bits that are left on the bottom, don't go nuts. Okay, so I'm gonna set this aside, but first I'm gonna take about a tablespoon of salt and put it in there. That's why if you marinate it, be careful what you marinate it in. I always do a fresh marinade of herbs and garlic and whatever. Don't use a pre-made like vinaigrette because it will have a lot of salt. All right, so I'm gonna put this aside. I'm gonna bring my hot water here, and for this part you're gonna need hands that are kind of Teflon. So I kind of break it up a little more here. All right, and I'm gonna add the water in slowly. Okay, I like to mush it up a little more. Okay, I'm gonna go, All right, so I'm gonna add my hot water in, slowly down the sides, kind of sloping it in. This is about 160 degrees or so. All right. Okay, a lot of guys get some numb hands after a while from doing this because this is near boiling water. Okay, I don't want to dump it all in at the same time on top because I don't want to get jagged edges. I want some really smooth, fresh mozzarella. So there's just a little bit left. I'm just going to pour it down the side. Give this to Zito to wash. Thank you, Zito. Okay, so now I'm going to let this sit for a minute before I come in here and start pulling and stretching. Bye, guys. See you later. Okay, I got my brine to the side here, so let's take a look. I'm going to lightly go, and you can see the curds starting to melt together. So now I'm going to start pulling it and stretching it with my spoon. All in Italy they use wooden pallets or wooden oars. Here are paddles, I mean, not pallets. So you can see this is stretching. You can just put it down, put it over. You want to keep stretching this. I got Zito next to me. He can't stop moaning. Look at that. Look at this mozzarella. Just like my mother used to make, eh? Okay. Once it feels like it's getting hot, just dip it right in that hot water. Zito, put your finger in that water real quick. Feel it. Feel that water. All right. So now you need really super hot hands, and this is where you start to form the mozz. Okay. Even for me, I have high tolerance. I gotta let it drop. Sometimes guys work with like some ice, a water bath, and then they come back to it. That's why ideally a wooden spoon would be better because it doesn't conduct heat. But you see these clumps here? We want to stretch until we get all these clumps out. Okay, and just if it feels stiff, put it right back in the water. Okay, so I'm gonna just let this sit for a second. Come right back to it. Nice and silky. All right, so I changed to a wooden dowel I had since I don't have a spoon, but it's the same idea. Going over and over. Okay. All right, get out those clumps, add it back to the water if need be. So I'm confident now, so I'm gonna slide over. Don't get any soap in there, Zito. All right, so now we're gonna start to form them. I'm gonna do a few different shapes. Staten Island, we do a lot of, you do the classic ball, you could do a knot, you could do bocconcini, ciliegine, whatever. But we're gonna go for a regular knot first. We're gonna pull it silky, go around like this, and then we're gonna kind of push up and pull at the same time and just pinch off at the bottom like this, and then we have like a little mozzarella ball right there. Okay, you can kind of push it up a little more, just get an even perfect ball. You can put it back in the hot water, help melt. So here we go, we got our nice perfect little mozzarella ball. Okay, we could do knots too. I'll show you that we like to do where the knots are a little easier, where they just kind of pull and then make a little knot. It's kind of elastic, so it'll snap back. These, I gotta say, courtesy of A&S on Forest Avenue, they make the best knots. And then you can braid them or do other things and put them in here where it's kind of cool and salty. So again, let's do a big ball. Let's watch. You know, pull it up, pull it over. Okay, and then underneath, I'm gonna make like a C shape with my hand and just pull, try to pull and push through. And then you can do right underneath like a little mozzarella ball. I showed you guys how to do this with dough as well underneath, how you make the little ball. Okay, and you have this perfect, see, and this will help to form the shape. So I'm gonna do a few more and then show you the end product. So I got my last little ball right here. I tuck it under. Okay, I'm gonna put them in the brine. I'm gonna let these sit in the brine for a little bit at room temperature to really absorb that salt water. Okay, I'm gonna dump the rest of my liquid here. All right, and I'll come back to you here and show you the final product, and we'll do a little simple marinade. Okay. All right, guys. Now, so I have my beautiful marinade that Jason helped chop up for me. It has all that nice stuff in there. Mad olive oil, all that beautiful minced garlic, the red chilies, and the parsley. Remember, don't put salt because there's a lot of salt in the brine that's been taken up in the last 10 minutes or so. If you will taste it and want to add a little salt afterwards, maybe a few sea salt flakes, go right ahead. But please do not go over the top with the salt because you really make this disgusting. All right. So I like to just take a clean rag first. All right, and I want to just dab this real quick. All right, so now I got my clean rag that I'm doubly sure that didn't have any Windex stains on it. This is fresh out the box. So I like to do this before I marinate this stuff. So I'm just take out some of these beautiful balls that have been soaking in the brine. Look how nice these are. I know some may be uneven, but right now we're just going for the freshness, okay? We knotted some we did just some more balls. So this would be more like an ovalline. Okay, this would be a bocconcini chines. These are some knots here. If you go to A&S or Italo on Forest Avenue, this is what you're gonna see a lot of. And I love these. It's probably one of my favorite things to eat on Staten Island. Okay, props, shout out to them. See, this is more of a smaller size, more of a ciliegina, ovalline, bocconcini actually. Ciliegina is a little smaller. So I'm just gonna let them dry. I got everything out of my brine. So if I could use this again, but I'm gonna dump this for now. Let's let this get a little dry, okay? Come back to it in 2 seconds. Let it give it a dry. All right, so my beautiful mozz has got a little dryness now, so it'll pick up more of the marinade. So I'm gonna get a glove on real quick. All right, so I got these dry. I'm gonna put in the marinade that I have here, okay? I'm gonna let them marinate for a few hours at room temperature. And just like good tomatoes, fresh mozzarella, burrata, whatever you're making, should be eaten on the same day, and do not refrigerate it. Refrigerating mozzarella is the worst thing you could do to a good fresh mozzarella. Okay, look, I mean, look how beautiful this looks now. Now we're in Pastosa and Italo. Where's my Italo one that I made? Here, right here. My A&S Bruno's Italo one right here, the perfect one. So this stuff will get good. I'm gonna put it into a deli container and let it marinate for a few hours before we enjoy it at room temperature with some nice crusty bread, some prosciutto di Parma, some of the caprese supersada that's really hot and spicy, and some other accoutrement like olives and whatnot, which we don't have. I'm sorry. Okay, guys, I hope you have fun with our last project of the year. Again, you gotta have to have a high tolerance for heat when you're stretching, but it's worth the effort. Bye-bye now.